So you're retired or about to retire, and it's time to start thinking about where you want to be in that next phase of your life. At this point, you're probably considering several options. Maybe it's Florida, the Carolinas, Texas, or Alabama. And while each of these locations has positives and negatives, I don't think, for my money, that any of them beat living right here in Williamsburg, Virginia. And the experts tend to agree, as Niche.com ranks James City County, the largest section of Williamsburg, as the #1 county in Virginia for retirees and number 12 out of 2,751 nationally. My name is David Tortellini. I'm a Williamsburg resident and your Williamsburg real estate expert. And in this video, I'm going to give you 13 reasons why you should move to Williamsburg, Virginia when you retire. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Let's start with a little background on Williamsburg, Virginia, for those who may not be too familiar with the region. Williamsburg is located on the Virginia Peninsula in southeastern Virginia, about midway between Richmond and Norfolk. What we refer to as Williamsburg is actually a combination of three regions: the city of Williamsburg, James City County, and Upper York County. So when you hear someone say they live in Williamsburg, they may actually live in any of those three areas, with James City County being home to the majority of Williamsburg residents. Meanwhile, Colonial Williamsburg, Jamestown Settlement, and historic Yorktown make up the historic triangle. And if you've ever visited the area, then I'm sure these historic sites were a big part of your visit. All combined, Williamsburg is home to a little over 100,000 residents, many of whom are retirees. The region, and the United States as we know it, began in 1607 with the founding of Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement in North America. Colonists soon expanded outward, and eventually, in 1632, the city of Williamsburg was founded, but originally named Middle Plantation. In 1699, Williamsburg was named the capital of Virginia, and when you visit Colonial Williamsburg, this is the time period they're trying to preserve. By this time, the College of William and Mary had been founded, making it the second oldest institution of higher learning in the United States. It's now one of the most beautiful and charming college campuses in the world and ranked among the best academic universities in the country. Over time, Williamsburg continued to grow and thrive and became a center of political thought and revolutionary activity during the American Revolution. Meanwhile, Yorktown, just to the east, became the site of the decisive victory in 1781 that ended the Revolutionary War. Fast forward to today, and Williamsburg is a region that continues as a unique blend of old and new, where you'll find archaeological sites just minutes from beautiful suburban neighborhoods and historic museums just steps from world-class restaurants. Williamsburg has so much more to offer than just the historic aspect that makes living here an absolute delight. And that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this video. So let's get into the 13 reasons why you should retire to Williamsburg, Virginia. Starting off with history and continuing education. If you're thinking about Williamsburg as your next home, chances are you visited and fallen in love with the colonial history of the region. Maybe you even attended William and Mary College and have always dreamed of coming back. Diving into the history of the region isn't only for tourists, it's a huge part of the daily life of many Williamsburg residents. With easy access to the historical sites and museums, the learning never stops. With regular educational seminars and forums taking place in Jamestown, Yorktown, and Colonial Williamsburg, you'll be able to expand your knowledge on everything from colonial gardening and ceramics to Revolutionary War strategy. In addition to this, William & Mary runs a continuing education program called the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. This is a very low-cost program that offers non-credit continuing education for people ages 50 and above in a variety of topics, ranging from art and music to government and law to engineering and math. No matter where your interests lie, there's sure to be a class or two you'll love. I'll be sure to have a link in the description if you'd like to learn more. Next up is golf. For you golfers out there, don't worry, we've got you covered. Williamsburg has 14 courses to play, all within a 20-minute drive of the Colonial Center, that offer a perfect blend of championship caliber courses, scenic views, and luxury amenities like fine dining and spa services. Here in Williamsburg, you can golf among the city's historic charm at the Golden Horseshoe, or at waterfront clubs like Two Rivers or Kingsmill, the regular host of the LPGA Tour. Whether you're looking for a relaxed course to call home or a private membership-only club, Williamsburg has it all. Travel slightly further up to New Kent County or down to Newport News, and you'll find an additional 5 courses ready for you to play almost year-round. All this combines to make Williamsburg a fantastic golf destination for travelers and residents alike. Number 3 is hospitals and medical facilities. As we age, access to healthcare becomes more and more important. Williamsburg is home to multiple medical facilities, the largest of which is the Sentara Williamsburg Regional Hospital, where they offer services including heart and vascular, orthopedics, emergency medicine, and more. The Sentara Hospital is located on the northern side of Williamsburg, is convenient to large neighborhoods like Colonial Heritage and Ford's Colony, which we'll talk more about later. Located further south in Williamsburg is the Riverside Doctors Hospital, which is home to the first emergency room in Virginia to earn the Geriatric Emergency Department accreditation from the American College of Emergency Physicians. There are also specialty services from TPMG, which is short for Tidewater Physicians Multi-Specialty Group, and several urgent care centers located throughout the region. In some circumstances, you may not find the specialist you need right in Williamsburg. If that's the case, those services are almost certainly offered elsewhere in Hampton Roads or up the road in Richmond. And that brings us to number 4, safe, gated communities. I know for many of you, safety is a top priority, not just for your personal safety, but the safety of your home. Retirees are traveling more than they ever have before, and that means your home may be left unattended for weeks at a time. If that's the case, then you'll be happy to know that the 3 largest neighborhoods in Williamsburg, Ford's Colony, Kings Mill, and Colonial Heritage, are all gated with full-time security. This means that no one is entering those communities who shouldn't be there. Security in these neighborhoods will also go by your home when you're away to check on it for you, so you can travel knowing your home is being looked after. A similar service is provided in the luxury neighborhood of Governor's Land, which isn't gated but does have full-time security staff and entrance video monitoring. Several other neighborhoods in Williamsburg offer part-time gating or strict key fob building access. So if the safety and security of your home is a top priority for you, Williamsburg should have exactly what you need. We also have 55-plus communities. Retirement may also mean that you're ready to get out of your family-filled suburb and away from those noisy, messy neighborhood kids. If that's the case, Williamsburg offers 3 55-plus communities: Colonial Heritage, which I mentioned a moment ago, the Settlement at Powhatan Creek, and the newest 55-plus community, Tranquility. Colonial Heritage is by far the largest of the 3, with over 1,800 homes surrounding a beautiful 18-hole golf course. These neighborhoods also provide an excellent social scene with many clubs and events where you can meet your neighbors and make new friends with similar interests to your own. So whether you're into history, gardening, cycling, or sewing, you'll be sure to find your group in one of these beautiful 55-plus communities. And that brings us to the cost of housing, which I think is pretty reasonably priced. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that housing in Williamsburg is inexpensive. After all, the average single-family home here costs about 20% above the national average. But relative to other communities of this quality, other locations you may be looking at, and the value of your current home, Williamsburg housing can be considered quite affordable. Many people who relocate to Williamsburg are coming here from extremely expensive locations like New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., and California, where a typical home might cost 2 or 3 times as much as it does here. Our newest addition to this list is Florida, where prices have absolutely skyrocketed over the last few years. This means if you're coming from one of these high-priced locations, you may be in a position to sell and buy cash here with money left over. Of course, that depends on how much equity you have. Other things to keep in mind are the cost of insurance. Virginia is a low-cost insurance state for homeowners insurance, which you definitely have to keep in mind if you're considering Florida or California, where insurance prices have gone wild, if you can even get insurance. Hurricanes and wildfires have made the insurance markets in these 2 states by far the most complicated and expensive in the country. We do also have real estate tax rates below the national average, which can help you continue to save, particularly in the city of Williamsburg, where the tax rate is just 62 cents per $100. So whether you're looking for a small rancher to call home or a large luxury estate, relative to many other places, Williamsburg is pretty darn affordable. Number 7 is something I really appreciate as someone who drives around all day long, and that's that we have very little traffic. As most people age, the idea of sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic and dodging crazy drivers everywhere you go becomes less and less appealing. That's why I'm happy to report that most of Williamsburg has little to no traffic. There might be a couple of spots during the afternoon commute that get a little backed up, but that's really about the worst of it. And that's really just on 199, around the intersection of Jamestown Road. Most of the traffic through James City County, where the vast majority of residents live, is free-flowing all the time. Even Monticello Ave, Ironbound, and Richmond Road, where the large shopping and dining districts are, offer extremely easy driving compared to nearby larger cities like Newport News, Hampton, and Virginia Beach. Northern Williamsburg, really anything past John Tyler in the Upper York County area of Williamsburg, have absolutely no traffic. So unless you're moving here from a really small town, I think you'll find the driving throughout Williamsburg to be very pleasant. We also have great airport access. Relocating to a new town often means moving away from friends and family, and it's nice to know you can get back to visit them or they can come visit you with relative ease. Or maybe you're planning to travel a lot in retirement. In either case, access to airports is going to be very important. Well, the great news is that the Richmond International Airport is only about a 40-minute to an hour drive straight up 64, depending on where you live in Williamsburg. Or you can take the back roads along Route 5, which is my preferred method getting to the airport. From Richmond, you can get just about anywhere with direct flights to many major US cities. I love flying out of Richmond because it's small and there are barely ever any lines. Now, only about 25 to 30 minutes away is the Newport News Williamsburg International Airport. If you can fly out of there, it's great because for most residents, it's even closer. But currently, only American Airlines flies out of this airport, so your direct destinations are limited. Most flights go to someplace like Charlotte, Atlanta, or Philadelphia, and then you go direct to your final destination from there. Worst case scenario is you head down to Norfolk, which is always a bit of a gamble when it comes to traffic, so it's usually my least favorite option, but is another great and still fairly small airport in the area with many direct destinations that may provide you some additional airline options and potentially lower fares. Next up is the weather. For many people, we're finding that the weather in Williamsburg is the perfect middle point that they really want. I'll admit, we're not Southern California. It won't be 75 and sunny every single day here. We get all 4 seasons with a fairly mild winter, where it's rare for us to get more than a few inches of snow, if we get any at all. Our summers are hot and humid, so July and August can be a little unpleasant, but they're nothing compared to what you might experience in Florida, Georgia, or South Carolina. In fact, we're starting to see, and this is my new favorite term, halfbacks. These are people who moved from up north to Florida, realize it's way too hot for way too long, and move halfway back. Turns out 8 months of summer can be way too much. Spring and fall here are absolutely gorgeous, and there's no other place I'd rather be during these months. So go visit the family up north in the summer, get out of the heat a little, and then schedule yourself a nice Caribbean cruise in the winter, and you'll be golden. Number 10, Williamsburg is quiet. Though this is a highly active community, it's also a very quiet town. Most places are closed and people are back home by 9 p.m. Late night partiers aren't really a thing here, outside the William & Mary campus. You won't hear much in the way of cars honking and screeching. Maybe you get the occasional fire truck or ambulance coming by. There are no major commercial planes flying low overhead, and unlike our neighbors to the south, there are no military craft in the area either. F-18s, F-22s, and various helicopters are a daily sight throughout much of the rest of Hampton Roads, but not here in Williamsburg. Lawnmowers and leaf blowers are just about the noisiest things you'll find. Now, Williamsburg might be a quiet community, but it's a very active community, with events nearly every weekend of the year and many social clubs to participate in. My favorite monthly event is Second Sundays in Colonial Williamsburg, where over 200 vendors gather, along with various musical artists and food trucks, in the largest outdoor market in the region. In the winter, Grand Illumination in Colonial Williamsburg, the Christmas Parade, and Christmas Town at Busch Gardens are all must-see events. Additionally, concert series are held in both Newtown and Colonial Williamsburg for you music lovers out there, or head to William & Mary to hear their symphony orchestra. The local breweries like Billsburg and Jamestown are also regularly hosting concerts, road races, and more. For those of you who still have a competitive itch, an organization I've been part of for well over a decade, Club Waka, offers a variety of adult sports in the area, the most popular of which among retirees are bowling and cornhole. You can also just hop on your bike and get on the Capitol Trail and go for a beautiful scenic bike ride. Those are just a few of the activities regularly taking place throughout Williamsburg. The larger subdivisions are holding their own events on a regular basis as well. I subscribe to a local email newsletter with all the upcoming weekend's events, and it's the primary way my family and I plan our weekends. Send me an email with the subject newsletter, and I'll send you the link to subscribe to the same one. In addition to the many events and activities you can enjoy in Williamsburg, we also have a thriving restaurant and beverage scene. From Opus 9 Steakhouse and Aberdeen Barn to trendier fare at Amber Ox, Dog Street Pub, Cachone on 2nd, and Blue Talon Bistro, or local favorites like Little Charlie's Pizza, Hibachi Buddha, and Emily's Donuts. There's a huge selection of restaurants in Williamsburg that will satisfy even the biggest foodie. For you craft beer lovers, Williamsburg is home to 6 craft breweries that are all fantastic. The previously mentioned Billsburg Brewery offers a wonderful outdoor experience along the Jamestown Yacht Basin, while Precarious Beer Project is located right in Colonial Williamsburg and is great for large parties and bringing the grandkids along. It has video games and TV screens in every direction to keep them occupied. There's even a taco truck and burger joint built right in. Williamsburg Winery is located near the neighborhood of Kingsmill and is a beautiful, serene location that offers a getaway from the main shopping and dining locations. With both outdoor and indoor tasting rooms, along with a great restaurant, the winery makes for a perfect night out. Lastly, Williamsburg also has a meadery and 2 distilleries. So if you're looking for something a little stronger, we've got you covered. For a relatively small town, I really don't think you can beat the food and drink scene here. And lastly, but maybe the best part of retiring to Williamsburg, is that your grandkids will be thrilled to come visit. At first, they might think you're moving to that place stuck in 1699 that they took a school field trip to and won't be particularly excited. And then you'll take them to our 2 world-class amusement parks, and they're going to want to come visit all summer long. Busch Gardens is in a league of its own with some of the best roller coasters and entertainment in the country. Plenty of fun for small toddlers all the way up to the most adventurous teenagers. Busch Gardens is perfect for kids of all ages. And with plenty of food and drink options, along with additional entertainment, you'll still have a great time too. Water Country USA is an absolute blast of a water park, with water slides for kids of all ages, a giant tide pool, and a splash pad for the little ones. This is the perfect place to cool off on a hot Virginia summer day. So there you have it, 13 incredible reasons why Williamsburg, Virginia is the perfect place to retire. From its rich history and lifelong learning opportunities to world-class golf courses, excellent healthcare, and a vibrant yet peaceful community, Williamsburg truly offers a lifestyle that's second to none. Whether you're looking for a quiet place to relax, an active community to keep you engaged, or just a charming town where family will love to visit, Williamsburg really has it all. If you're considering making the move, I'd love to help you find your perfect home here. As a Williamsburg resident and real estate expert, I can guide you through every step of the process and make your transition seamless. You can call, text, or email me anytime. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights about living in Williamsburg and the surrounding area, and leave a comment with any questions or thoughts you have about retiring here. Again, my name is David Tortellini, and I look forward to welcoming you to this amazing community.